You're watching the SEC on ESPN. The number 2 team in the country on the road in primetime as number 2 Alabama 9-0 makes the 90-mile drive to Starkville to face number 16 Mississippi State. The crowd is loud and hostile. And Alabama likely will be number 1 next week if it can win this game, because Georgia, the current number 1, getting blown out at Auburn 40-10 with just a few minutes left in that game. Wisconsin a winner, big over Iowa. So 4 unbeaten teams left in FBS entering this one. And hi, everybody. Alongside Greg McElroy, I'm Dave Pasch. We'll get to Tom Luginbill in a minute. Well, Greg, Alabama has won 30 consecutive regular season games going back to the Ole Miss game in 2015. But this is a tough place to play, especially at night. You played here with Alabama. The current quarterback for Alabama, Jalen Hurts, he's been so poised, Greg. He's only turned it over once all year.
He's done a tremendous job. And so many people look at Jalen Hurts and say, where can he improve? Well, he's 23-1 as a starter, so he's off to a pretty dang good start. But if you look at the way he works in the pocket, there is a little bit of an issue with sometimes trying to escape a little too early. He did a great job last week against LSU, feeling the pressure in the pocket, moving while still remaining a passer and keeping his eyes downfield right here on 3rd down, stepping up, hitting Ridley over the middle. But of course, Jalen Hurts, he's got to be an athlete. He's one of the best runners at the quarterback position in college football. And if you don't contain him with your pass rush, he can get out on the edge and make big plays happen. The numbers were pedestrian, but he took a big step forward. Maybe even a bigger challenge tonight, though, Tom Luginbill, going against the stout Mississippi State defense.
Well, there's no question, Greg, and the guy to keep an eye on up front is number 94, Jeffrey Simmons. He's the war daddy. He's the disruptive guy that is going to be tasked with stopping those inside runs. It is imperative for Mississippi State on defense to put Alabama in obvious passing situations, which means winning on 1st and 2nd down versus that stable of running backs. Now, this is a defense that has been opportunistic. They create turnovers. This is a team that turns turnovers into points. And if you're going to beat Alabama, it's tough to do it without them helping you. They need to give you points. They need to have a breakdown in the kicking game. You need to take those turnovers. 7 turnovers have been forced by this Mississippi State defense. 3 of them returned for touchdowns. Something like that has to happen tonight for Mississippi State to have an opportunity.
And Tom, during this 4-game win streak for Mississippi State, it's not just about causing turnovers. It's about great plays by the quarterback, Nick Fitzgerald, who has rushed for over 100 yards in 4 straight games. The first SEC quarterback to do that in 20 years. And in talking to Nick Saban last night, he's concerned.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Fitzgerald, just from an athletic standpoint, is as good as any in college football. He hasn't yet hit that ceiling, but he's on his way there. And to win tonight, he has to put together a superhuman effort. He's going to do it by trying to get to the perimeter in the run game. He's also going to have to throw into very tight windows. Alabama's secondary is elite, so he's going to be accurate and on time when he does deliver the football. He's also going to have to rely on Dan Mullen, one of the best offensive minds in college football. He's got to get some guys open for Nick Fitzgerald, and when those open guys are there, he's got to deliver the ball accurately. Alabama defensively a little bit beat up at the linebacker spot, though, Tom.
There's no question that the Alabama Crimson Tide, they're banged up. They're playing without 4 starting linebackers tonight, 2 of which, Mac Wilson and Sean Dion Hamilton, went down in the last 2 weeks. This is a concept-based defense. It relies upon communication. This is a defense where the linebackers are the quarterbacks. And so look for Mississippi State tonight to try and get some of these younger players. Keith Holcomb, number 42, the true freshman, number 18. Dylan Moses. Get those guys to commit some eye violations. Move the formations around, shift, motion, and try and get Alabama out of their element. I would expect the Crimson Tide tonight to stay as basic as they can on defense to allow those young guys to play fast and not have to think too much.
Nick Saban's last loss against Mississippi State was his first year as the head coach at Alabama. The Tide won the toss, deferred selection, so Mississippi State will start on offense. J.K. Scott putting it away. And Mississippi State will start on the 25-yard line. Junior quarterback Nick Fitzgerald. Big guy, 6'5", 230 pounds from Richmond Hill, Georgia, but originally from Germany. His dad, Derek, was in the U.S. Air Force for 20 years. Nick played receiver for 3 years until moving to quarterback as a senior, playing for his father, Derek, in high school. And along with Lamar Jackson, Nick Fitzgerald, they are the only quarterbacks with 1,000 passing yards and 800 rushing yards this season. Fitzgerald going to throw it deep on first down. He's got a receiver, but he overthrows a wide open Keith Mixon. That might have been a touchdown. It certainly would have been a huge play to start the game.
Trying to make a statement early. Talked about the perimeter rushing attack of Mississippi State. Faking that perimeter run, trying to hit a deep post over the top. And the deep balls that Nick Fitzgerald has missed over the 2 years as the starting quarterback here in Starkville have plagued this team from time to time. Few bigger than the one he missed right there.
Because to beat Bama, you got to hit on those when you get those opportunities. Play fake. Fitzgerald in the pocket, throwing again. It's high, way over the head of the intended receiver, Jordan Thomas.
Well, Nick Fitzgerald's got to settle down here a little bit here on the first drive. Coming out of high school was a triple option guy. Attempted just 76 passes coming out of high school. Really limited his recruiting. 2 offers, including Mississippi State. And the key for Dan Mullen was getting this young man on campus, getting him into camp so that he could evaluate him and that the young man could show what he was worth in person. And if you can give Dan Mullen credit in any area, he knows how to develop quarterbacks.
You talk about Dak Prescott, who was the predecessor for Nick Fitzgerald, and what he did for Dan Mullen's team and what he's doing now in the NFL. Big shoes to fill. Fitzgerald has done a pretty good job so far. Coming into tonight, 3rd and 10. Another pass play instead. Fitzgerald is sacked back at the 12 by Rashaan Evans. Maybe Alabama's best player defensively.
You can see standing up on the right, trying to create options. Up front, just a delayed blitz. You have one-on-one on the outside. Evans pretends, relaxes, and then recognizes drop back and goes full speed to bring down Fitzgerald. Great start to the Alabama defense.
And Greg, that's only the 6th sack allowed by Mississippi State. Good punt, though. Fair caught by Marks at the 34-yard line. And here comes Jalen Hurts.
I'm a proud Texan. Being from Texas is a little different. I feel like we're built different. You know, you hear the motto, don't mess with Texas. And it's just a pride thing. There's a lot going down there, I say, but the least I can do is play for them on Saturday.
There was a penalty marker down. We'll have to wait for Jalen Hurts to take the field here. So
here's the penalty.
Cook on the punt, and the defender for Alabama going over the top. And that was the foul.
Good call by the officials, giving Mississippi State new life after the 3 and out.
Just Fitzgerald with a back shoulder throw that's caught. Jordan Thomas to the 34-yard line of Alabama. Gain of 24.
Jordan Thomas is a matchup that Dan Mullen wants to take advantage of tonight. He's 6'5", 280 pounds, going against Averett, a corner. Jeremy Pruitt, the defensive coordinator for Alabama, was concerned about the ability that Thomas had, and he felt as though if he got in one-on-one situations against these corners, that would not be good for the Crimson Tide.
So a 2nd time already Mississippi State has been in Alabama territory. Fitzgerald keeping it here, turning it up inside to the 28-yard line. 5-yard run for Fitzgerald is a big dude at 6'5", 230.
Greg, you talk about that matchup on the outside, and Dan Mullen talked about having those opportunities. He said, hey, we can formation them. I can get the one-on-one that I want, but now we've got to execute it. And in that particular instance, they executed it perfectly, which sets up the next rundown with your best runner and the ball in his hands.
Yeah, it was well covered. Just almost impossible to stop a well-thrown back shoulder, Tom.
On 2nd and 5, it's a run play. Williams pushing the pile near the first down marker, but just short. Raekwon Davis on the stop. 3rd down and 1. We saw this on the last drive where they get 3rd and short. Now they're in field goal range. See if that offensive line can lean on Alabama's defensive line, which is awfully hard to do, but if any group can, it's this one.
Last time on 3rd down and short, they didn't run Fitzgerald. They tried to get it to one of their running backs. In short yardage, you got a guy that's 6'5", 230 pounds. Run the big fella and see if you can get some surge.
Between the tackles or perimeter?
Perimeter.
Instead, Fitzgerald straight ahead, bouncing off the tackle inside the 15-yard line. Well, you called for it. Fitzgerald, he ran it. He got 11 yards.
So they challenged the teeth of the Alabama defense. Keith Holcomb, number 42, filling in for the injured Sean Dion Hamilton. He's there. He just doesn't make the tackle. Great job by Fitzgerald, spinning off the would-be tackler and falling forward for a big 1st down.
Greg and Dave, take a look at how long Mississippi State is taking in the huddle. They are slowing this game down.
Yeah, just going to say that, Luke. You've got 10.5 minutes gone by. Bama's had the ball for 3 plays. They hand it off here to Williams. He gets drilled at the 11-yard line by Davis again. Gain of 2 or 3 for Harris Williams.
You're going to hear that name a lot. Raekwon Davis, number 99, only a sophomore. He might be the best-looking defensive lineman in the country. He's 6'7", and I think that's a little short, frankly. He's every bit of 6'7" in the hook, maybe 6'8", 310, and so versatile and athletic. Very long there in the trenches. Been very active early in this one.
2nd and 7. Williams again down to the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Mississippi State. It all started with the penalty on Alabama for leaping that kept the first drive alive for Mississippi State, which gave them field position. And then the touchdown run by Williams as Alabama trails Mississippi State for the first time in a game since 2008. Williams with a rushing score, and the Dogs strike first. Welcome back to college football on ESPN, presented by Hampton by Hilton as part of Veterans Week on ESPN, brought to you by USAA. Harris Williams with his 3rd rushing touchdown. It's the first quarter rushing touchdown given up by Alabama in the last 21 games. Remarkable. Diggs and Ruggs are deep for Alabama. But this will go through the end zone, a touchback. And check this out. Alabama coming into tonight trailing for only 2 minutes and 26 seconds. And they're down late first quarter to Mississippi State. Not much there for Scarborough on 1st down, only a yard.
I want to go back to the touchdown. Alabama's so good up front that you have to create opportunities with leverage by looping pullers around. Look at 51, Stuart Reese. A great job getting to Holcomb and allowing the touchdown.
Hurts to run here on 2nd down. Out past the 30-yard line. Picks up 4. Leo Lewis on the stop. It'll be 3rd down. And again, look at that D-line for Mississippi State. Everybody standing up. They bring pressure. Hurts pass pulled in for a 1st down. Ridley wide open. He makes a defender miss and still going. Ridley past the 30-yard line. Ridley to the 10. And finally they get him out of bounds. Alvin Ridley, the best player on offense for Alabama, left wide open.
All because of the protection up front. Mississippi State opting for blitz. which leaves their secondary in isolations. And when you leave Alvin Ridley in a one-on-one situation, he's going to make you pay. Huge play for the Crimson Tide.
64 yards. Down to the 6-yard line. Hurts will run off the left side. Stiff arming. Lunging. And they mark him down at the 1-yard line.
Great effort by Hurts. Looks like that left knee was down, so I think the spot's correct, but tremendous effort by the sophomore.
Second and goal from the 1. That's Scarborough in the backfield at 240 pounds, but it's Hurts going to the perimeter and pushed out of bounds, but he got in. Touchdown, Alabama. Eighth rushing touchdown this season for Jalen Hurts, who just beat the defender to the corner.
So much green grass to the field for Jalen Hurts, and it's a foot race. Him and Brandon Bryant to the pylon. Jalen Hurts wins it. What an answer by Alabama's offense.
Yeah, we showed that graphic about trailing for 2 minutes and 26 seconds all season. They trailed for 1:54 before scoring a touchdown and then tying it with a point after. What a response by Alabama. Trailed for less than 2 minutes. 64-yard pass play to Ridley, setting up the Jalen Hurts touchdown run. Four unbeatens left in college football, with Georgia losing tonight. Alabama, Wisconsin, Miami's playing Notre Dame shortly on ABC. And UCF, short kickoff fielded at the 10-yard line by Todd. Out to the 27. From the Mississippi State 27-yard line. Little mix-up. Fitzgerald colliding with Kylan Hill. And Fitzgerald keeping it for 3 yards. Mississippi State beat LSU big at home earlier this season, but in the games where they played top 10 teams this year, they have not fared well. They lost 49-10 at Auburn, 31-3 at Georgia. Much better start tonight against Alabama. Quick throw by Fitzgerald to the true freshman Hill, slammed down at the 32-yard line by Levi Wallace. Gain a couple. Third down coming up. 1 quarter in the books here in Starkville. Number 16, Mississippi State 7. Second ranked Alabama 7. Second quarter coming up. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. And when you are born in Starkville, you are born with a cowbell in hand. Everybody's got them here at Davis Wade Stadium. 3rd and 7 for Mississippi State from the 43-yard line. Fitzpatrick throws to the sideline. It's caught, and fighting for the first down is Justin Johnson as he's able to break a tackle and move the sticks. 6'3", 247 pounds. Tough for a defensive back to bring down.
Yeah, Johnson just drags Tony Brown. That's all effort. I mean, Averett's trying to get there, and Tony Brown's in a good spot. He's just given up 50 pounds almost to Johnson. It's tough to drag him down when he has forward momentum. Tremendous job by Justin Johnson from Birmingham. You got to think he's got a little left in the tank, knowing that he's playing against his home state school.
Oh, yeah. These two schools separated by only about 90 miles. They're going to run Williams again, in trouble in the backfield. Dragged down. Loss of 1. It's big. Quinnen Williams, you talk about the athletic ability of some of these guys. I was watching him return punts in warm-ups down on the field. Quinnen Williams at 2'90".
And Tom, you know recruiting as well as anybody. Try to put into perspective just how good this front seven is from a recruiting standpoint and a depth standpoint.
Well, let's see. I'm counting right now.
How many stars?
Hold on. No, forget the stars. One. Hold on. I'm counting them. 1, 2, 3, 8. 8 Under Armour All-Americans are on the field right now for Alabama on defense.
Yeah, and some of those guys are backups, including Brian Ray, a true freshman who's in. Williams off the left side. And close to the first down. Inside the 30. 3rd and short for the Bulldogs.
A great run right there and a good job up front by this big offensive line. They found something that they like on this left side. They've used some pullers. They've used some wrappers. Dan Mullen knows that the left side of his offensive line is outstanding. And they've leaned on those big guys up front for a majority of this first half. Expect him to lean on that left side again right here on 3rd and short.
Fitzgerald fakes, now throws, caught inside the 10-yard line for Rod Green. Another tight end down to the 5, 1st and goal.
A good job just releasing vertical off the play action. Ronnie Harrison is looking in the backfield. He's a half-second late to turn upfield, and it results in a big completion.
1st and goal. Harris Williams into the end zone for his 2nd touchdown. The Dogs came to play. And how about Harris Williams? 14 carries already for 60 yards. We mentioned their 2 blowout losses this year. He struggled in those games. He's already got more yards in this one than he had in those 2 losses. The extra point is good. It's 14-7, Mississippi State.
Dan Mullen knew that they had to establish the line of scrimmage. He challenged his offensive line, and they've responded. Just another day in the park, Mr. Mullen.
Alabama trailing by 7. And look at the rushing yards for Mississippi State. Alabama only gives up 76 rushing yards per game. Deep kickoff by Cook. It will come out to the 25. Play action for Hurts. And a dump it off to Hentges, the tight end, out near the 34. And the thing with Mullen is he worked for Urban Meyer, with him at Utah, with him at Florida. His development of quarterbacks, something that probably doesn't get talked about enough.
And identifying talent, too. He knows what to look for from an intangible standpoint.
On 2nd and short, they run Josh Jacobs, and he's able to get the first down to the 38-yard line.
You know, guys, this is the first series that Alabama has been backed up in the closed end of this field, and it is getting loud, and they've done a nice job of moving away from the sound.
Jacobs hit in the backfield, able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Marquise Spencer was there first. And then Corey Thomas, who's been out with a foot injury, cleaned him up. Missed the last 3 games, but is back tonight. 2nd and 10 for Alabama. Time to throw for Hurts. Climb in the pocket, but everybody covered, so he takes off. Now airs it out. Ridley is free again. Pushed out of bounds at the 1. That's twice Mississippi State has forgotten about the best player on the field for Alabama.
I love that this part of Jalen Hurts' game is really starting to come along. Last year, he would have taken off and run. Now, eyes are downfield. He identifies an open receiver and delivers it very accurately on the run.
On 1st and goal, Jacobs into the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama. "61-yard pass play to Ridley sets up the 1-yard score by Jacobs."
So much poise for this Alabama offense. As soon as they get hit, they counterpunch. Hit, counterpunch. And they did so with a big play in the passing game by their quarterback and their outstanding 3-year starter at wide receiver, Calvin Ridley.
Just remarkable, though, that twice Mississippi State has lost Ridley, leading to touchdowns for Alabama as we are tied at 14. So Alabama's trailed twice tonight, but for a total of only 3 minutes and for 10 snaps, 16 snaps all season long. Both touchdowns set up by huge pass plays to Ridley. On the goal line, here's Reggie Todd, hit at the 10, and down he goes, but a flag. Mississippi State back on offense on its 30-yard line. True freshman Kylan Hill behind Nick Fitzgerald, the quarterback. Hill finds a hole and is able to get out to the 34 for a 4-yard run. This is pretty darn good company for Nick Fitzgerald.
Yeah, it really is. And it's in really good company, too, when the first words that come out of Nick Saban's mouth, when you ask him to compare Nick Fitzgerald to a particular player that he's schemed against. First guy he said, Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
And then the second guy that Tom said was Matt Jones at Arkansas. I think he very closely resembles Matt Jones with how big his stride is and how much ground he can cover when he takes off with the football.
On 2nd and 6, Fitzgerald keeping it, and he's close to the first down. They'll mark him just short. Guys, what about the differences between him and Dak Prescott and how the run game is with Fitzgerald compared to what it used to be with Dak?
Dak is a little shiftier, a little bit better side to side. Fitzgerald is more explosive when it comes to running north and south. Of course, he's a little bit taller as well, just a couple inches though. So they're very similar with what they try to do with Fitzgerald and Dak. But Dak is a little bit better running between the tackles, where most of Fitzgerald's big plays come outside on the perimeter.
The huge 3rd and 1 here for Mississippi State. And they're going to hand it off, and it's a first down for Kylan Hill. True freshman from Columbus, Mississippi, which is about 20 minutes from Davis Wade Stadium. Moves the chains.
He's a big recruit, Dave, a 4-star guy in state. And this is a pretty deep stable of running backs. So for Kylan Hill to be able to get some turns on critical downs like a 3rd down there, that tells you how far this program has come under Dan Mullen and the caliber of athlete now that's coming to Starkville.
And they use Kylan Hill in so many different ways. His ability to process everything they're throwing at him as a true freshman is pretty remarkable.
They got to give Harris Williams a break. He's got 14 carries already in this game. Hill again. And this time Alabama's defensive line was better. Quinnen Williams is there for the Tide.
From an offensive standpoint, fellas, I don't know if this game could have gone any more better than it could be, because here's the deal. You slow down the game. Now all of a sudden you keep Alabama's offense on the sideline. You're frustrating them, and you've got balance run to pass, which I don't even think Mississippi State coming into the game thought they'd be able to run the football the way they have here tonight in the first half.
Yeah, and the time of possession numbers are just staggering. Mississippi State dominating in that regard.
Over 20 minutes now with the football. Fitzgerald running the ball here. Wrapped up by Deron Payne, who was there first on the 44-yard line. Now 3rd down and long here. Mississippi State nearing 3 minutes to go in the first half.
You just have to stay out of these situations if you're Mississippi State. Coming into this game on 3rd and 8+ situations. It's exactly what this is. They convert only 17.5%. That's 104th in college football. They have to be more efficient on 1st and 2nd down, because trying to gain big chunks against this defense in 3rd down is almost impossible.
Alabama rushes 5, and a deep ball through the hands of the intended receiver Reggie Todd, but Tony Brown jumped in front. That may have distracted the receiver. It's 4th down.
That was odd the way the ball was flying. Looks like Brown almost touched it, or he did touch it with that left hand, and Todd, he was all alone on the sideline. Wasn't on the depth chart coming into the season, but now, of course, forced in the action. Just misplayed it in the air, looked like a little bit.
It was really hard to tell if Brown got a finger on it. Another missed opportunity on a deep ball, though, for Mississippi State. Mark's going to let this one go, and it checks up at the 2. You saw Cook with the golf swing there. He had some backspin on that baby. Let's see how Alabama handles this. First down from its 2-yard line. They got Big Bo Scarborough in there at running back. It Hurts in the pistol. Scarborough straight ahead. Out to the 4. At a 2-yard run. Big Jeffrey Simmons in the nose, and a little pushing and shoving afterwards.
It's always difficult to be backed up on the road. It's especially difficult to be backed up with your back to the student section for Mississippi State, and to hear those cowbells go clang up. Very difficult to communicate in this part of the field.
You speak from experience, huh?
I've been there. It wasn't built out the way it is now. It's a tough spot on the field to be for Alabama's offense.
It's Harris, nowhere to go, but he breaks a tackle, stumbles just short of the line to gain. Harris showing some power there. It's 3rd and 1. Down and 1 for Alabama, and it's 11-yard line with 1:14 to go in a tie game. Hurts, a design quarterback run, gets the first down. Out to the 18-yard line. Actually heard it a little bit there.
You can hear it.
Yeah, because they quieted the crowd a little bit with that first down run. We get your point, though. Point taken. First down in the 17. Hurts to the air. Climbing the pocket, delivering a strike. Cam Sims on the catch out to the 35. And let's see now if Alabama uses a timeout. Clock will start on the ready for play as they reset the chain. Another pass play. Hurts setting up, and it's batted down, incomplete. Marquise Spencer appeared to be the one to get a hand on it. 2nd and 10. Keep in mind the field goal kicker for Alabama, Andy Papanastis. Long in the season is 46 yards, which means they need to get it down around the 28-yard line. Long way to go. Hurts to the air. In trouble. Escaping the pocket. And stopping the clock by scooting out of bounds. Forced out by Spencer. Now 3rd and long. And if they don't get it, you would imagine that Dan Mullen will call a timeout. You're Todd Grantham. What are you doing here, Grant? Are you bringing the house here or no? Play it safe.
Play it safe. Drop back. Play coverage. Try to rally to the football. You don't want to give up another big play. You've already given up a few this half. Just feel good about where you're at if you're Todd Grantham, defensive coordinator from Mississippi State.
And I guarantee you, all the players are saying cover number 3. Because he's the guy they've lost twice for big plays. It's a quarterback draw, and Hurts out to the 40. Dan Mullen should call a timeout here on 4th down, and he does with 32 seconds to go. So they'll have one timeout when they get the ball back. But you also have an excellent punter in J.K. Scott.
I think both teams will go to half feeling good about where they're at and saying, hey, we control the next 30 minutes. We're going to win the football game.
And look at this. Mississippi State has nobody back. They're just going to let Scott punt it, and it's not a very good kick. It was out of bounds around the 30-yard line. Well, it's interesting because they didn't go for the block, and now they're not going to go for yardage. They're just taking a knee here.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. You're on your own 28-yard line. Take it to half. Don't let anything catastrophic happen. Feel good about where you're at.
We're all even at 14 apiece. Number 1 Georgia has already gone down. Well, number 2 Alabama lose tonight in Starkville. Tied at halftime.
Coach, time of possession and field position hasn't been in your favor there in the first half. How do you get that turned around?
Well, you know, the penalty to start the game really turned the field position around, and we really never got it turned around. So we got to be able to run the ball better. We have got to be able to stop the run better on defense. When we get a chance to get off the field on third down, we got to get off the field. So they're playing slow. They're shrinking the game. We made a couple big plays on offense, but no real consistency.
All right, thank you, Coach.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Number 2 Alabama and number 16 Mississippi State. Even at 14 apiece as we get ready for the third quarter. Back with Greg McElroy. I'm Dave Pasch. Tom Luganville in a minute. And Greg, the story of this game is Mississippi State not letting Alabama's offense on the field. Bama was out there for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
The reason this game is tied because of the big plays.
Yeah, and it's because Mississippi State's done a tremendous job controlling the line of scrimmage. It's rare to see Alabama on the field for as much time as they were because they forced so many 3-and-outs. But Mississippi State's commitment to the run game and the success that they've had doing it has been alarming. And I think that's something that Jeremy Pruitt, the defensive coordinator for Alabama, has to try to get addressed because Mississippi State did a tremendous job being methodical throughout the course of the first 30 minutes.
Alabama ran just 23 first-half plays, and they will start the second half on their 25-yard line. And that stat right there is what really we've seen all year as they run Jacobs on a jet sweep here on the first play. Pinballs forward for a first down to the 37-yard line. But you look at Ridley coming into the game, 44 catches. The rest of the team has right around 44. Simmons and Sweat continue to push Alabama offensive linemen.
Ridley is as explosive a wide receiver as you'll see. Not as big as Amari Cooper, not as big as Julio Jones, but very quick and really good with the ball in his hands.
Number 2 all-time in catches at Alabama behind Amari Cooper. Hurts to the air. Short pass to Jacobs, and Jacobs able to stiff arm. And then Jacobs lowers the shoulder to the 44-yard line, gain of 7.
Well, fellas, it's not too surprising. Dan Mullen pretty pleased with the performance of his team in the first half. But the one area he said they've got to do a better job in is not missing opportunities for explosive plays. You remember the drop ball down the sideline with Thomas there in the second quarter. They can't allow that to happen again if they want to win tonight.
They fake the jet sweep and run Harris. Big hole inside the 40. Finally, down to the 10-yard line, Brandon Bryant tackles Harris. And Bryant shaken up on the play.
Harris has been so good this season. They hit the jet sweep on the first play of the half. They fake the jet sweep there, and Harris gets out the gate. Poor job at the second level by McLaurin, number 41. The safety sliding in there. And Harris, great job bursting for a huge play. He's been as reliable as any of the tremendous backs that Alabama's had this year.
Hurts his head in the backfield and dropped. That's a huge play for Mississippi State. McLaurin was back there, along with Adams.
Just pressure coming off the left-hand side and the right-hand side.
Now Hurts with a quick throw out on the flat to Ridley. And Ridley is dropped by Tolando Cleveland. Gain of 1. It's going to be 3rd and goal from the 12-yard line.
The big two-play sequence for Mississippi State after giving up the long run to Damian Harris. The tackle for loss, and then setting up now a 3rd and goal from the 12.
And Greg, that injury gave him a chance to regroup a little bit and settle down.
Alabama has not led tonight. Has trailed twice. 3rd and goal. Hurts, end zone, incomplete. Intended for Judy. He could not come up with it. Here comes the field goal team.
That's a massive stop from Mississippi State's defense. Two high safeties trying to get that post route out of the slot to Judy. And really the first errant pass we've seen from Jalen Hurts tonight. He has been in such great command. That one coming out of his hand a little funky. And taking a nosedive like a sinker that a pitcher throws off the mound.
Papanostis on for a 30-yard field goal try to give Alabama its first lead. 17-14. The Tide in front. Remember last year, Dak Prescott going crazy, watching Morgan Williams hit the game-winning shot to knock off UConn in the Final Four. Mississippi State ended up losing to South Carolina in the championship game. But their Final Four banner was raised last night. Morgan, her teammates, Coach Vic Schaefer getting their rings tonight.
Man, what a special moment that was. I mean, I was going crazy myself. I was like Dak.
Reggie Todd on the 2. Past the 20. And all the way to the 32-yard line. Nice return. From the Mississippi State 31. Fitzgerald keeping, and a nice run of about 4.
It was an outstanding game plan coming in tonight for Mississippi State. Trying to establish the line of scrimmage, particularly the left-hand side, because it sets up plays like this. They fake that same run action to the left, and they hit Green on the seam route in the red zone. It's been a nice mix of run-pass, but the amount of success they've had on the ground has really opened up their offense for Dan Mullen.
Got Eris Williams in the backfield with him. Williams had 14 carries, 60 yards in the first half. Fitzgerald keeping here, trying to get outside. Has the first down. And tackled out of bounds by Rashaan Evans. It is hard to outrun Rashaan Evans, and Fitzgerald just did it.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm saying, if you're breaking away from Rashaan Evans, who's one of the fastest, most disruptive linebackers in the game, clearly his speed is on display. It's not often you see an Alabama defender beaten to the perimeter, especially by a quarterback. It just goes to show you just how capable Fitzgerald is with the ball in his hands.
They're going to run again. Fitzgerald pitching it to Williams. And Williams out near midfield. Again, it's Evans on the stop, but they're getting excellent yardage on first down. That's a gain of 6.
Well, they're staying out of obvious passing downs by winning on first and second down, now in second and short. And Greg, to your point, if you can run the football like this and you decide to just sit in the huddle for a good 30 seconds, it's going to frustrate the defense that's used to dictating terms, and it keeps Jalen Hurts sitting on a bench.
More than 4 yards per play on first down, 4.5. Here's second and 4 at midfield. And a pass out of the backfield. Great catch by Gibson. First down to the 41. Well, you know when he comes into the game, there's a great chance they're going to throw it to him. It's a first down into Bama territory.
It's a great play call. Alabama goes with a little fire zone off the left-hand side, which vacates that area. And Gibson reels it in. Probably makes it a little harder than he had to, but burst forward. Really good play call, timely play call there by this Mississippi State offense.
And Gibson going to stay in for first down at the 41 of Alabama. 5 minutes gone by in a quarter. Gibson running right. And again, look at the yardage they're getting on first down. You just don't normally see Alabama's defensive line. You made this point in the first half. It's not about the linebackers, it's the D-line.
Yeah. You don't ever see Alabama's defensive line being driven back. It's rare. But to see this offensive line, and this is the best offensive line that Alabama has seen at any point this season. This group is tough, they're big, they're extremely physical, and they really play with a chip on their shoulder. This is a tremendous challenge for Alabama, and so far, Mississippi State's been up to the task.
2nd and 6 on the 37 of Alabama. Fitzgerald to throw, and out of the backfield, it's pulled in by Williams, able to get the first down. Out of the 29, pushed out by Hootie Jones. Terrific drive against Nick Saban's defense.
Nick Saban frustrated with how they passed this off. And you can see Hootie Jones, he actually releases upfield, turns inside, and runs vertical, which allows the wide route to take place. If Hootie Jones would have stuck with that running back from the beginning of the play, they would have had a much smaller chance of getting positive yardage. Instead, it's 1st and 10, right on the fringe of the red zone.
So a first down on the 15-yard line. Fitzgerald keeping. Dropped at the 12 by Deron Payne. A 3-yard pickup. Midway through the 3rd quarter, 3-point Bama lead.
And Greg, Dave, you know, talking with Nick Saban right before we went to half, I mean, he listed all the things. We don't have the ball, we had poor field position, and we couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. I think that's the most demoralizing thing to a defense that is so used to dominating on 1st and 2nd down, and then they get behind the chains and they have such an advantage. They've not one time had Mississippi State behind the chains here in this game, certainly in the 2nd half.
All those injured linebackers for Alabama. 2nd and 7. Here's Williams on the cutback. Oh, he goes up high into the air to get the first down. 1st and goal at the 3.
Vertical.
Williams already with 2 rushing touchdowns. Let's see if they give it to him to try to get number 3. The quarterback keeps it. And Fitzgerald hit by Jones at the 2. Mississippi State looking to go back in front, led twice in the first half. 7-0. And then 14-7. What will Dan Mullen call here? A lot of options. 2nd and goal from the 2.
I might try to get Nick Fitzgerald out on the perimeter. Sprint him to the right. And see if you can't find a receiver in the flat, perhaps. That way you have a run-pass option, potentially, and some green grass to the wide side.
And it is Fitzgerald rolling out, looking to run, gets hit, and drives through the defender into the end zone. Touchdown! You saw Nick Saban there just a moment ago talking with defensive coordinator Jeremy Pruitt. Probably wondering what happened to our defense on that drive. 13 plays, 69 yards, 6 minutes and 38 seconds. And it's 21-17 Mississippi State.
In order to beat Alabama, you have to have a superhuman performance from your quarterback. Nick Fitzgerald trying to deliver, and his coach loving it.
I saw Nick Fitzgerald after the touchdown feeling ill. Appeared to be vomiting on the sideline. Right into the medical tent, but is out. And a deep kickoff. And Alabama will start at the 25. On the Alabama 25, Hurts back to throw. Running around, and this pass is broken up and nearly picked off on the redirection off of the helmet. Jonathan Abram with the pass breakup. Now here is after the touchdown by Nick Fitzgerald. He vomits on the sideline. We were looking at the replay trying to see if he got hit awkwardly in the helmet, but didn't see anything.
They just went on a 13-play drive. He went in the tent, came out. He's standing alert and ready.
McElroy is going with exhaustion.
Could be it.
His backup is a true freshman. If something were to keep Fitzgerald from continuing, 2nd and 10, and Hurts gets hit. Hurts gets out of there. They're trying to rip the ball out. Hurts does a good job to hold on to it. He's still taken down for a sack at the 23, bringing up 3rd and long. Mississippi State looks like it's coming. And now Hurts surveying. They bring pressure. Hurts pass is tipped and incomplete. Broken up by McLaurin.
Defensive coordinator Todd Grantham opting to bring pressure right up the middle. And you can see McLaurin getting his hand on it. Jalen trying to get rid of it quickly on a quick slant. Just not quick enough.
J.K. Scott to punt for Alabama from inside his 10-yard line. Dedrick Thomas taken down right away at the 36-yard line. Mississippi State's defense balling, holding Alabama to 17. It's 3rd and 9, and he's right on cue with a beautiful pass, and Mixon is free down to the 41 of Alabama. How about that pass by Fitzgerald?
We told you at the very beginning that Fitzgerald's got to throw it into some tight windows. How's that for coverage? Tony Brown is right on it. I mean, that's a great route, great separation. That's an NFL throw. That's the type of accuracy you have to display when you're trying to dissect Alabama through the air. Right on cue there for Fitzgerald.
22 yards, and look what happens. They go right back to the huddle. Take more time off the clock. Keep that Alabama offense on the sideline. Handful of times now they've been in Crimson Tide territory. Harris Williams, and again able to push the pile, dragging a defender to the 39-yard line. Georgia lost earlier tonight, the #1 team. The #3 team, Notre Dame, is down 17-0 in Miami right now. And the #2 team is trailing late 3rd quarter in Starkville, with Mississippi State trying to add to its 4-point lead. Now, the last time #1 and #2 lost on the same day, you got to go back to 2012. I wonder when the last time #1, 2, and 3 all went down. Might happen tonight.
College football. It's the greatest sport in the world. You never know what's going to happen.
On 2nd and 7, another run play. Williams again keeps the legs driving. Gets to the 36-yard line for about 3. Going to bring up 3rd down and 4 for Mississippi State.
This is a really interesting play call here, Tom. 3rd and 5, right. Potential 4-down territory, albeit unlikely depending on how close they get to the sticks. It'll be interesting to see if they run it or throw it here on 3rd and manageable.
But there's so many options too, Greg, and I don't think we can emphasize it enough how each and every one of these snaps, that ball, that clock's going down inside 10 seconds and just frustrating Alabama.
3-1 time of possession, Mississippi State over Alabama. They have to get just past the 28-yard line. And Fitzgerald will throw, and the receiver comes free as the defender slips. It's Dedrick Thomas inside the 20. Thomas still going all the way to the 11-yard line for 25 yards.
Dedrick Thomas working against Levi Wallace out of the bunch. Just a great route. You can see Wallace slipping as Thomas slipped back inside, trying to create some chaos with that bunch formation. That's exactly what they got, and picked up yet another big conversion through the air.
From the 11-yard line, 1st and 10. Williams down to the 9-yard line. We'll see if Mississippi State runs another play or just waits till the 4th quarter. Darrell Williams, the left guard, a little slow to get up.
The way this thing's gone so far, I'm pretty sure they're not running any plays.
We go to the 4th quarter in Starkville. Alabama has won 30 consecutive regular season games, has not lost in the regular year since September of 2015, but they're down 4 going to the 4th. The last time #1, #2, and #3 all lost on the same day was in 1966. Could it happen tonight? Mississippi State 2nd and 8 on the 9. Here goes Fitzgerald. And he gets just a yard. 3rd and long coming up. In fact, it was January 1st, 1966. So these were all bowl games the last time the top 3 lost on the same day. Georgia lost earlier tonight. Notre Dame down 17-0 at Miami. A huge 3rd down and 6. Can they extend the lead with a touchdown, or will Alabama keep it a 1-score game? Fitzgerald rolling out, looking, lobbing, end zone, incomplete, going for Jordan Thomas. And then after the play, pushing and shoving going on the goal line, the officials have not thrown a flag yet. So it's 4th down. The Mississippi State's going to have to bring on the field goal team. Jamal Couch of Mississippi State was getting into it with a couple of Alabama players, and you saw some of Couch's teammates go in there and rip him away from the fray.
Big stop right there from Alabama after Mississippi State has done a great job getting to this part of the field, stalling there on a 3rd and long. But there's some bad blood in this rivalry. There's no denying that. You can see, as evidenced by what happened after the play, a little chippy on the field.
Chase Crispin has not missed this season. He's 8 of 8 on field goal tries. And he stays perfect and extends the Bulldog lead to 7, 24-17. Mississippi State. Welcome back to college football on ESPN, presented by Hampton by Hilton as part of Veterans Week on ESPN, brought to you by USAA. A field goal by Mississippi State. A big stop by Alabama to keep it a 1-score game. And running it out of the end zone is Henry Ruggs, a true freshman. He gets a block, and he can't get away, though, from the defender at the 17-yard line.
Hi, I'm Captain Tim Dixon. On behalf of all of the Alabama alumni and fans in the 908th Airlift Wing at Maxwell Air Force Base in Montgomery,
we are so thankful for all those who have served or are currently serving in the military. First down for Alabama on its 33, trailing by 7. Here's Josh Jacobs to the outside, getting the first down. To the 47-yard line, a 14-yard run for Jacobs. Jalen Hurts, again tonight, Greg, we're seeing the poise of the young man.
It's amazing. Just to think that he's 20 years old, only in his 2nd year. He started a lot of football games, obviously. He just handles situations like this just masterfully for a guy so young.
Hurts will keep it here. He's got running room. Breaks a tackle. Again, you see the strength and then the speed. To the 40-yard line. 14 yards on the ground there for Hurts, who played for his dad in high school. Averion, a longtime high school coach in Texas. And then Jalen's mom is in the picture as well. She's a math special education junior high teacher. Look at the time of possession. Alabama's had it for only 13 minutes in this game. And Hurts will throw. Blitz coming. Hurts is sacked at the 45-yard line. Mark McLaurin. Man, every time they brought him with pressure, McLaurin's made a play.
Mark McLaurin coming off the edge with the safety pressure. And Jalen Hurts knows it's coming, just doesn't have anywhere to go. Runs into Josh Jacobs, and he's dropped for a loss. Big play and great call by Todd Grantham trying to catch Alabama's offense sleeping.
It's 2nd and 15. Here's Jacobs turning it upfield and stepped out around the 34-yard line, so he gets a big chunk of it back, 11 yards.
And Greg, let's see what gap Todd Grantham decides to attack this time. I mean, he's gone from the A gap to the B gap. He's overloaded the edges, keeping this Alabama offensive line and Jalen Hurts on their heels, not quite having the answers for where the pressure's coming from.
Tom, keep in mind, if you're Brian Dable, the offensive coordinator, this could be 4-down territory depending on what you get right here.
3rd down and 4. Pass play. Hurts setting up, and the pass in the dirt and ruled incomplete, intended for Devontae Smith. 4th and 4, it would be about a 52-yard field goal try for Papanastis, whose long is 46. So the offense will stay on the field. Do you agree with the decision here to go for it on 4th and 4?
I don't. I would punt it and try to play the field position game. Trust your defense in this scenario. Now the play clock's running a little low. They're going to have to hustle to get up and get it snapped and get it communicated.
Hurts steps up and runs and has the 1st down past the 25 down to the 21. Smart play, saw that everybody was covered and took off and picked up close to 15 yards.
Huge play. How many times over the course of the last 2 years have we seen Jalen Hurts take off on a critical down and distance to pick up the needed yardage with his feet? So many times he's been able to create on his own right there. There hasn't been a bigger play in the game by that young man.
Always seems to make the right decisions. Hurts to the left side. Twirl to the turf at the 14, but that's 7 yards on 1st down. Errol Thompson shaken up, and he's in there for the injured Des Harris. They're going to have to go 3rd string here. You saw Errol Thompson walk to the Mississippi State locker room. Des Harris is back on the field, so that's good news for Mississippi State. Again, 3 ACL injuries. He got hurt earlier in the quarter, but is back out there for 2nd and 3. 10th play of the drive. It's been mostly run plays. Here comes pressure. Harris straight ahead. 1st down and more. And Petered, Alabama. A chance for the Tide to tie it.
What a drive by Alabama. 10 plays, 82 yards. Tremendous poise and outstanding execution.
Papanastis to tie the game. Splits the uprights. 3rd different Alabama player to score. A rushing touchdown in this game. 24-24. Alabama trying to stay unbeaten and get to #1 in the country. Ties the game back up here in Starkville. Alabama just tied the game at 24 here in Starkville. But a penalty on Alex Leatherwood. Took his helmet off and went and celebrated with the team while he wasn't in the game. So they got him for a penalty, so Alabama's kicking from the 20-yard line. It bounces at the 20, and here's Todd past the 30. Todd to the 40-yard line. 1st down in Alabama territory. Williams getting the carry for a 3rd straight play. Stumbles for about 2.
Greg, think about how Mississippi State started this game. They came out throwing the football in the first 3 downs. Nick Fitzgerald got pummeled, and then the play that changed things for them was the punt with the penalty, and it gives them a fresh set of downs, and Mississippi State goes right down the field.
Alabama's given up 171 rushing yards. They allow on the season just 76. Fitzgerald will run this time. And doesn't get much. Good job by Alabama up front. Deron Payne, so good at the point of attack. 3rd and long for Mississippi State.
Nick Fitzgerald has had a lot of success on 3rd down tonight. Mississippi State 8 of 13, keeping drives alive, and they've had a number of 3rd down attempts that have been 8 or more, which is very difficult and not a down and distance that Mississippi State has had success with to this point of the season. Probably the biggest snap of the game at this point for the Bulldogs right now.
Fitzgerald will throw on 3rd and 8. Fires to the sideline. It's caught, but short of the line to gain. Thomas on the catch. Fitzpatrick in coverage, and you got 4th and about 3. Do you punt it and try to pin them deep, or do you keep the offense on the field and go?
Looks like they're going to punt it. And I agree with this. Their defense, for the most part, outside of that last drive, has been pretty solid tonight. And their punter, you got to give him credit as well, Cook. He's dropped it inside the 5 a couple times. And if you can pin Alabama deep on this side of the field with the student section right behind you, that's advantage for the defense.
This one he kicked too hard. A touchback. It'll come out to the 20. That's a huge mistake by the punter, Logan Cook. 1966, January 1st, the last time the top 3 ranked teams lost on the same day. Notre Dame's down 27-0, by the way. Jacobs past the 25, actually Scarborough, excuse me, to the 26. So that's a good play on 1st down as Scarborough gets 6 yards.
This is where Scarborough has been effective over the course of his career. 4th quarter, late in the game, you put in a running back that's 235 pounds. He's difficult to bring down, so when your legs are tired defensively, dragging down big number 9 is no easy task.
Scarborough again, got the 1st down and more. Out to the 36, 10 yards for Bo Scarborough. That Mississippi State defense is relatively fresh. But right now, Alabama's offensive line winning at the line of scrimmage.
And these backs are fresher.
They keep rotating. They went Harris, Jacobs, and now Scarborough. 3rd straight carry for Scarborough. To the 40-yard line, another 1st down. Stepped out near midfield. 13 more yards, 5.5 to go. And Scarborough calling for substitution as he hobbles a bit to the sideline.
Yeah, he looked a little awkward going out of bounds right there. If he could have tight-roped that sideline, there was a lot of green grass. Brian Dable, the offensive coordinator, calling the same play 3 consecutive snaps, just a sweep to the wide side of the field.
1st down to the Alabama 49. Here's Harris off the right edge, and Harris has running room past the 40-yard line. Gets upended inside the 35, but it's all about the run game here in the 4th quarter for Alabama. Just dominating Mississippi State with the rush.
In particular, on the perimeter. That play right there, the exact same play as they ran the previous 3. That wide sweep. Try to get out on the edge with momentum.
129 rushing yards in the 4th quarter. They had about 80 through the first 3 quarters. From the State 33, Harris again, and this time they stop him after a 1-yard gain. It's Errol Thompson, who was injured earlier, comes back on the field and makes a play here. 2nd and long.
Really nice tackle by Errol Thompson right there. There was some grass out in front of Harris. If he could evade big number 40, but he drops him there for a short gain.
There's Harris leaving the backfield. Hurts on the run. Dragged down for a sack by Jeffrey Simmons. Although, wait a second, Hurts was acting as if he landed on the defender, Simmons, but they blew the whistle at the 20-yard line. So it's a big loss of about 6 yards. Let's see if he indeed went down. Oh, yeah, clearly down. That's smart by Hurts. Just get up, though. But we knew Jeffrey Simmons at some point would step up and make a play. He did there, forcing a 3rd and 14. Empty backfield as you see Harris leaving and going wide to the right. Hurts trying to find a running lane. It's not there. He sacks it down at the 23 by Green. It'll be about a 40-yard field goal try to give Alabama the lead. Andy Papanastis has made a 30-yarder tonight. His season long is 46. He's 15 of 18 on the season. It'll be a 41-yard try. And it's off the upright, no good.
Snap was good. Hold was good. Ball flight was good. Just wide to the left for Papanastis, who's been so consistent this year for Alabama in the kicking game.
Mississippi State takes over on its 23 with just one timeout. 2:03 on the clock here in regulation. It's a shovel pass, and it gains only about a yard to Farrod Green. Does Mississippi State go fast here, or do they say, you know what, we got only one timeout, let's be conservative? I play for overtime.
I think they play conservative, but Alabama has to be thinking they have 3 timeouts in their hip pocket. Depending on what happens here on second down, they could potentially decide to maybe take one and see if they can't get another possession. I think Dan Mullen's going to opt to run the football. That's been the point of least resistance so far for Mississippi State tonight.
Well, they snap it with about 15 on the play clock. Take a shot down the field, and it's picked off. Oh, no, Hootie Jones dropped it. He had it, and he rolled over and couldn't maintain possession. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Now, it looked like he never had it actually on that replay. Throw is low. Would have been a great pick had he come up with it.
Would have been a great pick. Just a miscommunication between Fitzgerald and the intended wide receiver. He thought he was going to hook up over the middle.
I'm just surprised they threw the ball.
Me too.
And they snapped it with so much time on the play clock. When you're in a situation, you're back at your 24-yard line. You only have one timeout. Fitzgerald, design run. He's going nowhere. And Alabama will call a timeout to stop the clock with 1:15 to go. Or will they? No. Yeah, they do. They a couple more seconds came off the clock there. Looked like it should have been 1:15 when that timeout was called. 4th down.
With 2 timeouts, you have a little bit more freedom to potentially run the ball if you choose.
They need a good punt from Cook, and they get it. Fair caught by Marks at the 32-yard line. So Alabama has the ball on its 32-yard line. 2 timeouts left. 1:09 to go in regulation, tied at 24. Hurts will throw on 1st down. Looking. Rolling out. Running. Stepping out. And he gained only a yard. 1:01 on the game clock.
It's a good job downfield, guys, by the secondary there for Mississippi State. But more importantly, the ability to keep your eyes on the quarterback, come back and make a play and not let him gash you on the ground.
Papanastis just missed a 41-yarder. His long in the season is 46. Keep that in mind here on 2nd and 9. Hurts over the middle. It's caught by Ridley at the 45. 1st down to the 48-yard line. Clock will stop as they reset the chains.
If I'm Jalen Hurts, I'm looking in the direction of number 3 on every single drop back.
Hurts again to the air. Pressure coming. Hurts on the rollout. Throws it out of bounds. 44 seconds to go in regulation. Pressured by Lewis. So now that you're at the 48, Greg, does the running game come back into play here at all?
Yeah.
For Alabama?
I think that a quarterback draw could be the play call right here potentially, because you have those timeouts. You have to save one for the field goal unit, but you have the luxury of running it if you so choose.
Hurts will throw on second down. He gets hit, and he's sacked. At the 43-yard line, Alabama has to use a timeout. That'll leave the Tide with 36 seconds to go, and they got 3rd and long coming up. 5 sacks by Mississippi State in this ball game. See, the Bulldogs are showing blitz there. Hurts waiting. Here they come. Hurts to Ridley. Got it at the 45, at the 40. Ridley gets Alabama in field goal range, stepping out at the 26 with 31 seconds to go.
Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator for Mississippi State, showed it. You saw the pressure. You saw the blitz. Brian Daboll knew it. Jalen Hurts knew it. Delivered the slant on time to their best weapon at wide receiver.
Papanoff missed from 41. Be about a 43-yarder from here, but Alabama, they can run the ball. They have a timeout. 31 seconds remaining. Hurts over the middle. It's caught inside the 10-yard line. Broken tackle. Devontae Smith. Touchdown, Bama. They go to a true freshman for the go-ahead score with 25 seconds remaining.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword defensively. When you man up in that situation, you better be better than the opponent. (31-24) Alabama after Jalen Hurts' 11th touchdown pass of the season.
What an incredible sequence by Jalen Hurts in this offense. Blitz right in his face. McLaurin off the edge. And he finds Smith on the slant. And Devontae Smith, one of the most sure-handed receivers on the team as a true freshman, catches it in stride and splits the defense for the touchdown.
Pooch kick. And it goes out of bounds. What a terrible kick there.
Fitzgerald's got the arm, though. If they can just pick up 10 or 12 or 15 yards, he can easily get it to the end zone in a potential Hail Mary situation.
So they put that second back on the clock. No time should have come off there. So they fix it to 25 seconds. Fitzgerald in trouble, chased out of the pocket. On the run, gets hit, got to get rid of the ball. Now he lets it fly, and it's caught. And out of bounds is Todd with 16 seconds to go, and they're at the 49-yard line of Alabama. You go one more to the sideline here, 10, 15 yards, and then get 2 shots in the end zone, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. See if you can't pick up another first down. Of course, have to make sure everyone's alerted that a potential spike could happen if, in fact, the guy is tackled in bounds.
Fitzgerald moving to his left. Now throws. Incomplete. 11 seconds left. Todd couldn't hang on. Averett in coverage. 2 more plays, you would think, left here for Mississippi State, and Fitzgerald will take a moment and talk with his head coach, Dan Mullen. Again, no timeouts. Fitzgerald moving to his left again. Throws it downfield. Broken up at the 20, incomplete. Fitzpatrick downfield makes the play on Jordan Thomas. 5 seconds to go. One shot to the end zone.
That's the guy you want to target in a contested catch situation. Big Jordan Thomas at 6'5", coming off the field rather gingerly too. In a Hail Mary situation, he's who you want on the field, so that's a potentially big loss not out there on the field. But Fitzgerald understands, got to buy some time and heave it as long as he can into the end zone.
Alabama drops 4 guys deep into the end zone. Fitzgerald backing up, now stepping up, letting it fly into the end zone. It is knocked away, incomplete, but a flag. A flag is thrown with no time left. Alabama's rushing the field, but we may have one more play here in Starkville.
Pass interference, defense number 42. 15-yard penalty, give you a spot. Automatic first down.
So 15-yard penalty, an untimed down. One more shot to the end zone for Mississippi State.
I have very rarely seen pass interference called on a Hail Mary, but clearly Holcomb tackles the intended wide receiver.
Made it an easy call for the official.
And it's a good call. It's the correct call. Even though there's a lot of contact in that Hail Mary pit, the correct call by the official.
So no time left. Alabama has a timeout remaining. Trying to figure out where exactly to spot the ball. It was on the 49-yard line. So 15-yard penalty puts it on the 34. No time left. Final play unless a penalty on Alabama. Fitzgerald backs up. Now launches it into the end zone, and he throws it too far. He throws it out of the back of the end zone. The game is over. Alabama survives. Number 1 goes down. Number 3 about to fall, but number 2 wins tonight. Come from behind fashion in Starkville. Let's get on to Tom.
Coach, how would you assess the performance of Jalen Hurts on that last drive to take your football team down and win this game?
Well, I think he did a fabulous job in the whole second half. Great job in the last couple drives. So even when we missed the field goal, that was a heck of a drive. So really proud of our team. This is a tough circumstance. We had a lot to overcome. Guy did a great job.
How about your defense struggling to stop the run for most of the night, but you made some plays late there in the fourth quarter. How would you assess their performance?
Well, we got 2 stops when we needed to, which was the most important thing. We didn't play that great, but we got technically looked like what we got to do to fix it and try to get it fixed with our players.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks. Good job.
And there will be a familiar team at the top of the college football playoff rankings on Tuesday. Alabama stays undefeated, winning in Starkville against Mississippi State 31-24. Coming up next on ESPN, Top Rank Boxing. For Greg McElroy, Tom Luganville, our entire crew, I'm Dave Pash. So long from Starkville.